Celeste is a single-player platformer where you play as a young woman named Madeline who challenges herself to climb the mountain known as, well, Celeste. Mysterious powers residing on the mountainside ward off all but the bravest of challengers with difficult terrain, spooky monsters, and more. Every step she takes, person she meets, and obstacle she overcomes gives her a sense of accomplishment that she feels will help her cope with past stresses. And ingeniously enough, Madeline's journey also accurately describes the player's experience with Celeste itself. While offering a classic tough-as-nails platforming challenge asking players to jump, wall climb, and dash past enemies and 1001+ spikes, Celeste still manages to be one of the kindest, most understanding games I've ever played. And inlaid to its forgiving design, coupled with its outstanding challenge, is where Celeste's true brilliance lies. It's fast become my favorite platformer and one of my all-time favorite games. And here's why it's so perfect at what it does. Before diving too much into the design and personality of the game, let's start at the basics. Developed by Matt Thorson, Noel Berry, and their friends, Celeste originated as a game jam title, made in about 4 days. It took inspiration from some of Matt's older Kaizo-esque titles, the kinds of challenges which flood Mario Maker, many from Matt himself. You can actually play the original game jam title for free in browser. It's called Celeste Classic and is linked below. Of course, swapping between this and the full release, the games simply can't compare. The more complete version was released in 2018 for computers, Xbox One, PS4, and Switch. I've already made my opinions on the title clear, so I'll keep the more review aspects of this video brief. You control simply with the arrow keys or D-pad. I would highly recommend using a controller for this one. Beyond that, the game basically has 3 buttons. Jumping, basic enough, clinging to walls and climbing them by holding up while doing so, and the main mechanic of the title, which is dashing, to get a burst of momentum in any direction in the air and reset how long you can hold on to walls. The ideas are honestly as simple as they get. The challenge comes from the level design, rooms full of spikes and pits where you're trying to get Madeline from one side of the screen to the other. The game checkpoints at every screen though, and lives are unlimited. This means you can try and fail as many times as it takes for you to successfully platform to the next room. Death isn't even an inconvenience in Celeste. The game very quickly pops you back at the entrance. No aggressive game over music or anything of the sort. You're expected to experiment with the rooms until you can find and execute upon the way forward. Along the way, secrets will lay off the beaten path, either hidden behind false walls or simply in difficult to reach places. Typically simple bonuses like strawberries, which give you extra points and bragging rights. The more elusive B-side tapes, however, will unlock more challenging so-called remixed versions of the already difficult stages. These secrets are also trackable from the pause screen upon revisiting levels, which can be jumped into from different checkpoints throughout the stage. Celeste is very good at providing you the tools you need to secret hunt provided you're willing. And finally, collectible gemstones are the most hidden and tricky to find, unlocking bonus areas and content throughout the game. I honestly didn't even know they existed until I got to the final stages of the game my first playthrough. Purely from a gameplay perspective, Celeste is fairly simple but endlessly satisfying. Clever level design pushes these straightforward mechanics to their limits, incorporating the potentials of the physics flawlessly, using the momentum forced upon you by moving platforms to fly forward, or these dream blocks which continuously propel you in the direction you dash into them. While every screen has an obvious intention behind its completion, alternate routes are occasionally available if you get creative with the game's mechanics. Speedruns of Celeste are absolutely crazy if you're looking for something impressive to watch. And speaking of impressive visuals, the entire time the game stuns with sights and sounds beyond imagining. The color palette and the liveliness of all the artwork is beautiful and zen-like. While obviously using a pixelated art style, as many indie games do, the game doesn't bother attempting to stick to retro limitations, and allows the artwork to breathe with bouncy squash and stretch animations. Sometimes on particularly difficult segments, I'll stop to stretch my hands and just soak in the atmosphere of the mountain and the various aesthetics throughout. And the soundtrack, oh goodness gracious, it may very well be my absolute favorite of any game released in the past decade. Empowering yet soothing chiptunes which dynamically rise and fall in power based on your circumstance. I could go on and on for hours about the game and the graphics, but this video is about more than just that. It's about the things both big and small that make the gameplay and overall experience of Celeste so brilliant. For instance, all of the little quality of life tweaks which go unnoticed but still improve the game. So, to give an example, have you ever played Smash Brothers and tried to double jump off of a ledge only to just barely walk off the side before your first jump, making you instantly double jump without realizing it, only to frustratingly mash jump again, wondering where your second jump went? Celeste actually has a solution for that in the form of Coyote Time, a small grace period after leaving a ledge where the game will still let you jump, meaning even though you're technically breaking the game's rules, you can still accomplish your goal. This title is chock full of little forgiving tidbits like that. You can see them all in a thread Matt posted over on their Twitter, linked below. Mechanics like letting you wall jump even if you're not technically perfectly aligned to a wall, popping you up onto soft platforms that you just barely miss. It effectively has a bunch of tweaks which say, we understand what you were trying to do, so here you go. Celeste does not punish you for trying your best. It in fact actively makes room for success even if you're not quite playing perfectly. Nothing proves this better than the game's assist mode, designed to lower the bar of difficulty for players who are having trouble with the game but still wish to see it through. You can optionally at any time with no penalty reduce the game's speed, grant yourself God mode, get infinite dashes, so on and so forth. Use those bonuses to get past any particularly difficult segments and then disable it if you're comfortable to proceed without assistance. A game doesn't have to be unforgiving to be difficult after all, and that exact mentality is perfectly reflected by the title's story. As Madeline climbs the sacred mountain, she'll encounter a handful of characters who are also seeking to climb, live on, or even conceived by the mountain. I'll try to detail this as well as I can without spoilers. Madeline has experienced some trauma in her past which still sticks with her, and it finds ways to push itself forward and make everything that she does somehow seem unimpressive or pointless to her. It's why she wants to climb Celeste at all, to prove to herself that she's capable of great things. The more you play, those feelings of self-hate and negativity are showcased more clearly through panic attacks and dialogue. The characters play off of Madeline's feelings, either granting her guidance or forcing her to face the root of her fears. The higher you climb, the more intense these moments become, culminating in falling nearly all the way down to the very bottom, only to climb back up even stronger. Just like how the game plays, the story reminds you that it's okay to fail, and sometimes you have to confront intense emotions, provided you have the help available to do so. You're not alone, even when you're by yourself. What Celeste does so well when representing mental illness, better than any other game I've ever played, is presenting the afflicted characters as simply people. They aren't defined by their struggles and could still stand without them. Madeline's personality isn't traumatized, more so headstrong, brazen, kind, but takes on way too much all at once. After all, she's only on the mountain to prove to herself that she can do it, despite how ludicrous of an ask it is. She's convinced herself that the only way to move forward is to take the path of most resistance, but in doing so, with the help of the friends she makes along the way, manages to actually confront her troubles and climb even further. Now, I'm gonna be entering some slightly spoilery territory, so if you'd rather go play the game for yourself, now's the chance to do so. It's linked below and completely worth your time and money. If we're all good, I'll continue. So, the most important way in which Celeste reminds you that these characters are people first and foremost is by having their lives and stories continue even after the climax of their fights against mental illness. In the free Farewell DLC, which adds some extra extremely difficult content, Madeline fights against the reality of a main character's death. It's not a defining trait of her personality like a dead parent in a D&D character's backstory, but is rather a new challenge to face, one which we all have to someday. Life carries on, for a time anyways, even after we overcome the struggles of the now. We all keep climbing the mountain. All of this is to say, the combination of the solid, simplistic gameplay tied with forgiving smoothing over of edges, and the complex but realistic portrayals of mental illness, Celeste is brilliant. It's absolutely perfect at what it does, which is to say, proving that you don't have to be. Speaking of being imperfect, sorry about the gap between videos recently. This quarantine has got me in a pretty serious funk, but I'm doing my best to keep climbing. Remember to wash your hands and stay home as much as possible until we've conquered this challenge. If you're looking for other kind-hearted games to play while stuck at home, I'd recommend checking out my therapy games video linked above and below. And maybe consider subscribing while you're at it. I'm so close to 100K and I'd love to reach that peak before the end of the year. That's just some food for thought. Either way, thank you all so much for watching, stay safe, and take it easy.